UAPs or UFOs, that's a topic that has to be debated worldwide on an international level. That's what we've been saying all along. And now the government of San Marino is officially going to propose a UFO conference under the auspices of the United Nations. What is this all about? Joining me now are Dr. Roberto Pinotti, the director of the International Coalition for Extraterrestrial Research, and Paolo Guizzardi, Italy's representative in ICER and the person responsible for media relations in the Italian Centro Ufologico Nazionale. Both of you are masterminds behind Project Titan, which is the proposal of the government of San Marino to the United Nations. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for having me.
I know you are very busy. You're being very busy right now concerning this Project Titan. So the Parliament of San Marino just discussed this issue officially. And here we can see the part of the debate that was going on there. So how is it possible that UFOs are being debated officially in the Parliament of San Marino? How did this all come to be? Roberto, was it difficult for you to convince the government of San Marino to address this issue?
Really, yes, because you see, everybody knows about the Grenada Initiative. The Grenada Initiative, as you know, was stopped and frozen in 1978 after a coup. But what is important to understand is that in San Marino, in 1998, the speakers of 16 different countries in the 6th edition of our UFO World Symposium signed a document called the San Marino Charter, requesting the local government to use the frozen Grenada Initiative in order to create a United Nations UFO study group. The problem is that, the minister for Foreign Affairs of San Marino at that time, Gabriele Gatti, frankly expressed his opinion that the United States were against such an initiative. And he was right, because the Grenada Initiative was absolutely had two big enemies, in other words, the United States and the United Kingdom. So he said that probably it was not the case to go on with this story. And in that occasion, we had several people who now are involved in our battle for disclosure. For instance, Leslie King. Well, of course, things changed. And we had also later the Chinese initiative, in which I and Don Schmidt were involved. We tried to support this initiative, but as you know, the Chinese-American war in the field of commerce, and later also the pandemic, created big problems, and then everything was aborted. So we had the idea to propose once more this initiative in San Marino, because things had changed. In other words, since 2017, we had the disclosure climate coming from the United States. So man and things changed, and we had the opportunity to discuss. Yes, they said nothing, but we understood that we could risk and to propose this idea. This was the story.
Yes. And Paolo, you are the mastermind behind this project to approach the government of San Marino with your proposal. What is this all about, Project Titan, and how did you manage to do this?
Well, Robert, that was a bit of a long story, but to make it as short as possible, it was basically my intention to fulfill the wish or dream of our Roberto Pinotti, who wanted to revive the true spirit of the Grenada initiative. That is to bring the UN, the United Nations attention on the subject of UFOs, because this is something, because it is a phenomenon which is still unknown, basically unknown, but that could have extremely profound consequences for the whole humanity. So the United Nations, being the humanity highest council, is the place where it belongs. I mean, where the UFO phenomenon or UAP should be taken into consideration, discussed, and possibly they should facilitate the study. So this basically was my intention to fulfill the wish of and the dream of Roberto. So in this sense, I can declare mission accomplished, because we managed. Concerning to how simple or difficult it was to convince San Marino to accept this offer, I should say that the most important thing and the most difficult was to find the right way, because we had prepared it was already mid-September 2022, the Project Titan, which we had presented to one minister of San Marino Republic, the Minister of Public Culture, Public Instruction and University. Then Roberto Pinotti went to visit the two heads of state at mid-December 2022, who were rather interested, but nothing followed. I mean, there was no reaction from San Marino authorities whatsoever. So we said, very likely this is not the good way, this is not the good kind of approach. So I started, after having scratched my head for long, I started searching another possibility to approach San Marino and propose the participation in Project Titan in a more effective way. So after some research, I found this old institution of the Istanza d'Arengo, which is basically popular petition, which is a very old institution in San Marino legal system. And I prepared a very detailed Istanza d'Arengo, or a public petition. But of course, this was made possible by the fact that in San Marino, we found a good number of San Marinese citizens who were interested and wanted to support the initiative, because the Istanza d'Arengo is a popular petition which must be submitted, of course, and signed only by San Marinese citizens. So once we found that there were a good number of persons who were interested in Project Titan, then we said, okay, that's the way to go. The Istanza d'Arengo way. So I've prepared this Istanza. Yes, this is a picture of mid-September 2022, when we went to meet to a meeting with the
Minister
Secretary of State. Yes,
yes.
Minister of Public Instruction and Culture.
So you were saying you were preparing this proposal.
Yes, so I mean, I started to prepare this Istanza d'Arengo, which basically was prepared and submitted as the law mandates on the 2nd of October 2022. And also the law mandates that this Istanza, this popular petition, has to be first of all, cleared by the heads of state for examination and debate in Parliament. So on the 17th of December 2022, the Capitani Reggenti, the heads of state, officially cleared the initiative, the Istanza d'Arengo, to be discussed by the Parliament. And that was scheduled to be within the month of March 2023, because this is what the law which regulates this institution provides. And so this, again, as I said, it was just basically the most important thing was to find the right way to propose this initiative,
yes.
which
and you
I'm
managed,
glad. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you managed that this you were able to bring this proposal forward, and it was debated in the Parliament of San Marino. And now the government of San Marino the Parliament decided that the government of San Marino proposed this to the United Nations.
Yes.
And what exactly is the plan? What exactly do you expect the United Nations to do?
But I mean, what I'm expecting the United Nations to do is rather clear. I just want to say one thing. According to the law which regulates the Istanza d'Arengo petitions, now the Parliament has to issue, once that the Istanza d'Arengo has been approved, the Parliament has to issue a decree by force of which the government is bound to enact what is requested in this Istanza d'Arengo. So first of all, then we will have to proceed with the signature of the Memorandum of Understanding between ICER, CON, and the Republic of San Marino, of course. Then what will it happen? According to the plan, which at this point, the government of San Marino will be bound to follow, the government of San Marino will submit the United Nations, the office of the Secretary General of the United Nations, a request for the creation within the UN structure of a small office devoted, tasked with the preparation, I would better say, the preparation of a world conference on UFO-UAP studies. So this is this will be submitted. This proposal will be submitted at the beginning of the UN General Assembly of 2023, which is going to be mid-September, around 15th of September, more or less. Then the discussion will be, then the proposal will be allocated for discussion at a specific UN committee. In the case of the Grenada initiative of 78, that was the Special Political Committee, but I think that very likely is going to be different. So once that it has been assigned a specific commission, it will be examined. I mean, the proposal will be examined by this commission, and then the commission will normally it will recommend the proposal for vote at the UN General Assembly. So this is what is going to happen. If the General Assembly approves, then it will be bound to create this new office.
Okay, and this United Nations office to be created is going to organize a UFO symposium that takes place in San Marino. Now, Roberto, you have been organizing UFO conferences for 32 years in San Marino with the official support of the San Marino government. What is your expectation? What is going to change once this will take place under the auspices of the United Nations?
Well, I am rather optimistic. Consider that in your own country, in Germany, since 1967, we had, well, the start of all this UFO and United Nations initiative. In fact, in Mainz that year, we had the first ufological international congress with the presence of Hermann Hobert, the father of rocketry. And I was there as a speaker. I represented in Italy. and I met him. And the principal host in that occasion was Coleman Fonkewiski. He was unemployed in the United Nations, and he succeeded in convincing the General Secretary of the United Nations, UTANT, that the UFO problem was a serious problem. In fact, UTANT declared that the most important problem for the United Nations was, immediately after the war in Vietnam, the UFO problem. And this was extremely important. He also permitted to Dr. MacDonald, a physician, to speak in the United Nations about the subject. Then you see, we had the development of all this with the Grenada Initiative, but it's an old story, as you see. So I frankly am rather optimistic about all this. In fact, what was important is that the San Marino politicians understood that this initiative may bring to San Marino a lot of positive things from the standpoint of the image in the international scene, of also the media, obviously, and this is important too. And why not also from the touristic and commercial point of view? Because in this moment, you consider that most of the San Marino, of the people who comes to San Marino for the Congress are Italians. But of course, if you obtain what we want to obtain, people will come from many different countries, and this will upgrade the tourism in San Marino, of course. And then there may be also other positive things. So this obliged, more or less, the politicians of San Marino to say, okay, it's an interesting thing, let's do it.
Okay, so is this just about promoting tourism in San Marino, or is there a bigger goal behind this? Let's say, for example, having the chance to debate this important issue for mankind on a relatively neutral grounds, like in San Marino, Paolo?
Yes, indeed, Robert. San Marino has a extremely important characteristic in this respect. That is the fact that it is a neutral country. So that's perfect to host. I mean, it's a perfect location to host such an international, let's call it, meeting. But there is one thing that I would like to point out. As I said before, this is basically a pro-UFO initiative. But I mean, it's my sincere hope that it can also function as a way to further an atmosphere of collaboration, just to contrast the actual attitude that we are seeing nowadays of confrontation between states of the world. We see today a lot of confrontations between states, and I even if this is not the main purpose of the initiative, I sincerely hope that this could help, how can I say, hinder this tendency to this dangerous, extremely dangerous tendency, general tendency to confrontations between the states of the world.
Yeah. So this is a very promising project indeed. Thank you very much, Paolo Guizzardi and Dr. Roberto Pinotti, for joining the show. If you want to read more on Project Titan and how it all came about, go to our website, iser.network. Please also check out our Facebook page and our Twitter account, which is iser_network. Thank you very much for joining me here. And thank you also for watching this. Well, what can I say? UAPs is far too important to be only discussed in one particular country. I think this is an international thing that has to be debated on an international level as well. Thank you very much. See you around. Bye.